What is going on? Welcome back to Financial Journey. So today I want to talk to you about Healthier Choices Management. I want to go over some of the current developments and how this is set to do a 196x from these current prices. So I'm going to go over everything that you need to know, but first make sure you guys hit that thumbs up and subscribe. And with that said, let's get right to it. So as of late, there hasn't been any true developments from the company itself regarding the spin-off. So last news did come out on May the 10th, and SEC filings under HCMC, last one was done on May the 23rd. Aside from that, for the HCWC, last one was on May the 24th. There was two, so I've already covered those in previous videos because largely talks on, I guess, the next steps. Still no definitive date as far as when they do plan on spinning it off, but they do and clearly are adamant that it is going to be occurring in 2024. So as I said in my last video though, we should be finding out in the next month and a half, because they'll have to set a new record date, and that has to be a certain time period away, and just time for administrative things coming from the New York Stock Exchange. So it's going to take time. So we should find out at least a new record date momentarily, at least in the next little bit. So again, beside the point, when it comes down to it, they have alluded to in previous S1s a large investor that's going to be kind of participating in the whole spin-off and is going to be kind of helping the transition into HCWC. And based on this, the latest round of 13Fs, a lot of institutions have been selling out. Obviously, HCMC doesn't have the most robust amount of institutions lining up, but there was one that did buy, and that was Vermilion and White Wealth Management Group, LLC. So they did disclose on May the 15th that they increased or made a brand new position of 6.9 million shares. So lo and behold, they probably are the ones that did kind of are helping them with financing behind the scenes. So once the whole spinoff does occur, they're going to get a very large chunk of shares associated to the whole spinoff and just the convertible notes as well. So definitely their position is going to really increase quite significantly. That might be a good thing, bad thing. I'll leave it up to you guys to do your own due diligence. In the past, I've been covering HCMC for a very long time. I would have thought that FineMark, National Bank and Trust, would have been one of those big investors to help with the transition, because way back when they had a significant amount. So they had 233 million shares. So back in the day, they were making a pretty damn good penny. They didn't sell one share, they still kind of maintained their position. I don't know what they were really anticipating, but nonetheless, I would have anticipated that that entity right there would be kind of helping with the transition. But needless to say, I just wanted to bring this up because, yeah, I guess I don't really look at the 13Fs for HCMC all that frequently, but this one stood out. So clearly this entity right here, so Vermilion and White, is kind of that backer and that investor that they do refer to in these S1s. But beside the point, moving on. Right now, given HCMC, looking at the market cap, it is currently 479,000. And so that is very low, especially at its peak and whatever else. But right now, 479,000. And with the whole spin-off, I've brought this up in the past. Initially, it was a certain amount. It has since increased. So based on the last S1, so this one right here, so the last amendment, it does indicate that there's going to be a total of 9.4 million shares. So that's both Class A and Class B. So after 90 days, the Class B is going to be converted into Class A. So kind of null and voiding Class B going forward, but nonetheless 9.4 million, and their anticipated spin-off is going to be around $10 per share. So that does make the market cap of HCWC 94 million. So if you kind of just do the basic math, that does mean that HCMC is anticipating to grow 196x, because like I said, the market cap for HCMC is 479, and potentially you can kind of argue it that it's going up a little bit more than 196x because HCMC as a whole is not moving to HCWC, only certain assets. So there is still going to be some assets left under HCMC, primarily the qcup, vape store actually I believe is getting rolled into HCWC, but the whole lawsuits as well is all staying under HCMC. So in theory it could be like 200, possibly even more X. So I just wanted to kind of bring this to your attention because that is very, very impressive. If you ask me, definitely I'm holding back my reservation to kind of critique that. I'm just at this stage, just show me. I want HCMC to prove me wrong and show me that they can kick ass. So one thing as well that I guess I never really noticed was it looks like their authorized shares under HCWC is 560 million. So once again, that's something that you really, really need to dive deep into this company because they have alluded to that it's basically they anticipate a pullback of at least like 80% straight out the gate. So yes, their market cap is going to be around 94 million. That's based on the IPO estimates, of course. But they are anticipating a pullback and instant dilution. And based on this, initially it's going to be 9.4 million, but they can dilute up to 560 million. All they'll need to do is submit a S3. So once they do get onto the market, probably in the first month, they will submit a S3 because an S3 is good for 3 years. So a 3-year time period. That way they don't need to get approval. They don't need to notify people. They can just do it whenever they see fit and justified, but still it's something to kind of keep in mind, right? I know a lot of people are just waiting patiently, and they have been waiting patiently since mid 2022, so it's been a very long time. I think it just behind the scenes, it was a bigger plan than what they kind of thought out initially. And in my opinion, this is just speculation. I think they just used it as a ploy just to dilute, right? Because part of their 4-point plan was that they were going to dilute 14 million of sorts, which did happen. But since then, they have also done, I believe, 1 or possibly 2 even additional rounds of dilution, which was over and above that 4-point plan. And most likely, if they don't do it within the next quarter, HCMC itself will need to dilute as well as technically do a reverse stock split, because where it is right now, like, it can't go down much further. So in theory, they do need to do a reverse stock split as what they have done in the past. They haven't done one for a while. So last one was done in 2016. So June the 2nd, 2016, a 1 for 20,000. March 9th, 2016, a 1 for 70, and then 2015, 13, and 10. So HCMC has been around for a very long time. But yeah, I don't know. What's your thoughts on HCMC? Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. Once the spin-off does happen to HCWC, do you think that it is going to maintain that market cap of roughly 94 million? Or do you think that there's going to be a pullback? What's your thoughts? One final thing I just wanted to share with you. Take advantage of this promo. Simply sign up for a new account, throw $100 at it, and they give you 5 free stocks. Each stock is valued up to $2,000. Kick-ass deal, link in the description below and also the comments. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.